So which is better, Ashe support or Ashe ADC? Ashe support is still how I see most people play this champ, but Ashe ADC is kinda how she was meant to be played, so I don't know. So I did what I always do in these types of situations and ruin my teammates' time as I work to find out which one I prefer and which one is better. But in my defense, in the defense of anyone else asking this question, she does go into perpetual state as being a support pick or being an ADC, but usually they're both off meta anyway. So let's take a look at whether you should take Ashe as your ADC or if she will be banished to the realm of champions that were originally meant for other roles but that have been outclassed by Riot's 200 years of gaming design experience. If you don't want to know what Ashe does, here's a little 30-second breakdown of her abilities. Her Q is an ability that increases her attack speed and is also an auto-attack reset. Her W is a cone of unavoidable doom. Her E is a scouting grip. And her ult is a big old arrow that stuns people. Alright, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the pros of Ashe in both positions. So I decided to link her up in this because she plays pretty similar in both roles, and the real difference is whether you're taking that sweet minion gold or not. But anyway, first up, every attack on an enemy slows them, so you have a chance to kite out almost everyone, unless you're being hunted down by a Warwick with 26 kills or constantly matched up against Master Yi or Nocturne. So if you do have the same luck as me, then you can have fun being just as useful as a 10-year-old helping their dad fix their car. But without that in mind, you do have the chance to outplay a lot of different champions. But this is really beneficial to Ashe as an ADC, more than it is as a support, since as an ADC you actually do have the attack speed to reproc the slow before it goes away. Alright, next up she has some good unavoidable poke in her W. This might as well be a point and click ability because it's really hard to miss. Generally, this is what you level up first as both the support and an ADC, so the long cooldown won't last very long. This is something that both Ashe support and ADC take advantage of, and it's actually pretty great for both, so thumbs up there. Now this is a pro specifically for Ashe ADC, but she goes well with any type of support. Some ADCs synergize better with one type of support than other types of supports, but Ashe is pretty good with all of them. Enchanters help her stay safe during ganks and engages since she can't move very well. Tanks complement her already great engage, and poke supports just add a little bit of extra damage so you don't lose those fights. Honestly, great to play with as a support because you can pick whoever you want. Last up, let's talk about that ult, one of the best engage tools in the game. Landing this will hopefully mean that you get a guaranteed kill on the enemy. It's also a relatively low cooldown, so if you go wide right, that's fine. You can just try again next time. Take your participation ribbon and head back to your tower for now. Now, if I did miss anything, let me know in the comments below, because I'm far from an Ashe genius. I'm more like an Ashe enjoyer, an Ashe guy, if you will. There is also something to be said about her being easy to pick up, but I'm actually going to go a bit into that when I talk about the negatives. So let's just go right into that. Ashe is easy to pick up, but I think she's more difficult to master than other ADC champs. She is very unforgiving in positioning mistakes, unlike other ADCs that usually include a dash in their kit. And since Ashe doesn't get that, if you step out of line, you're going to get that Ashe slap. For Ashe support, this isn't actually as much as an issue because you spend most of your time as a W alt bot, so while auto attacks can help, it's better to just stay back and keep throwing those W's. She also is a bit lacking in damage in the early game. Now don't get me wrong, Ashe can deal damage, but a lot of ADCs have multiple damaging abilities early on, and Ashe's W is all she really has right away. And with that on a 15-second cooldown pre-level 7, that's not really going to be a reliable tool for anything besides poking. You also have your Q, but that has to charge up to 4 auto attacks. Not great when other champions can just burst you down when they can spam all their abilities right at once. That really does just leave you with auto attacks, which most of the time just doesn't cut it. Once you do get some items though, you're ready to shred through some folk and deal some big old damage to everyone. Honestly, not a lot of negatives that I can really think about because she's one of those all-around ADCs. If a new player comes up to you and say that they love Ashe but are confused seeing them in both roles, which would you tell them to play? Now let's get into some cold hard facts here. I took a poll on Reddit r/support and it looks like a majority of the people say that Ashe ADC is a lot better. I also checked Ashe mains on Reddit and they also said that Ashe ADC was better. So why is that? Honestly, not the biggest sample size, but something's better than nothing, and a majority of the people just agreed that Ashe ADC is better. Next up, I was looking at some of the win rates, and if you look at Ashe support win rate, that's pretty abysmal right now. But if you look at Ashe ADC win rate, he's actually outperforming a lot of different champs right now and is actually quite strong. Now, most of her strengths we talked about earlier, although they do work as support, tend to synergize better as an ADC. If you think about having the ult engage with 1 W, then having to charge up your Q, you don't really have a lot of follow-up as a support. So you really need to rely on your ADC either being really fed or just an absolute beast. While if you take advantage of the same engage as an ADC, you'll have the faster attack speed to charge up your Q as well as the same damage as they did previously. Plus, your support can either do more damage, buff you up, or continue the CC chain, so it just fits better as an ADC. So if someone did ask me this question, I would say, try Ashe ADC. She's better that way. She's that all-purpose ADC, and she helps you learn one of the most important things as an ADC, positioning in team fights. Now, I'm not out here saying Ashe support isn't playable, because everything is in this game. Ashe support is actually far easier to play because you don't have to worry as much about spacing because you're just long range, because autos aren't as needed as much. You just want to throw out your W's and slow people. But you do lose out on a lot of the benefits that Ashe can bring. Now, I will also say this. Ashe is funner as an ADC, and I think that counts for something on a game made for fun. It just feels so much much better when you outplay someone with some gross outplay instead of just, throwing your W every so often. Honestly, if Ashe continues to be picked as an ADC and not as a support, I believe she'll find herself being in a far better place because Riot won't have to worry about how balance changes affect her viability as a support, since she won't really be there anyway. And just a nod to one of my friends, Ashe mid is pretty fun, so try that out if you have a chance. Just don't be too aggressive like me and lose your lane after flashing under tower. If I did miss anything, let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and drop a like. Talk to you later!